much, Anish, for joining us for the Success Story series.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
before we get started, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, what do you do and what is your background?
Yeah, I finished my BTech in 2010, and I joined Infosys for a very short period of time, 3 months, and then I from 10th class itself, I was keen to join a government job. So I quit the job in Infosys, and then I prepared for civil services. After two attempts, I could clear this Central Armed Police Forces exam conducted by UPSC. And in 2014, I joined as an assistant commandant in CRPF.
Mm.
So from then, I was in this force. And for the first 4 years, I was posted in Sukma district of Chhattisgarh. After that tough tenure, I was given a chance of home posting in Hyderabad. In from 2019 June, I've been working in Hyderabad. Yes.
All right, all right. So, working in CRPF, a very challenging situation.
Yes.
Also, having a huge team to manage. So,
Yes.
how big is the team that you manage currently?
Yeah, now I have around 550 people under me, including some inspectors, sub-inspectors, assistant sub-inspectors, head constables, and constables. So it's a very huge team. Yeah, in fact, I don't even get to see some people for months in this job. And in my first tenure, it was a bit easier. It was a team of 135 people, 135 to 150 people. So I knew everyone by face and name, so that was not that challenging in terms of man management, especially. But the role was challenging there. Here, the role is mostly administrative role, but man management is a bit difficult here for me.
Right. So, what made you feel that you wanted to do an MBA, and what was that trigger that came to your mind?
Yeah, first 3 years in Sukma district, na, every day was very much challenging. Especially in the first 1.5 years. But Naxalism has been in this country for the almost 30 to 40 years. Their tactics and everything won't change actually. They do minor improvements in their tactics. That's it. But the core tactics won't change. It is new for us, but once we get through those tactics in 1.5 years, then it's routine for us. The last 1.5 years, it was yeah, I know where the id is going to be planted, under which tree they'll plant, and I could expect easily. So the moment of Naxals, and we developed the intelligence network and all those things. So, and in Hyderabad also, first 6 months, 7 months, the administrative role, it was new for me, so I learned it. But after that, it's the same thing. You do the same job repeatedly. There are standard procedures that we have to follow. We can't move outside those rigid procedures. So there is not much scope for innovating in those things. Even in terms of technology also, we still, you won't believe, we maintain all those things in registers only. We don't use even the computer because of national security issues, or maybe some cyber security issues. It's not that developed till date. It is coming, technology is coming into CRPO, but not to that extent which we expect in the corporate world. So even after if I look forward also, after some 10 to 20 years down the lane, I'll be doing the same job, but I get promotion as DIG or IG, but job will be same. So I thought it's better for me to switch, especially when I saw the corporate sector in the last 5 to 6 years after the startup boom and all those things. So I thought there are many opportunities in corporate, and corporate will be changing every 5 to 6 years. So I'll get to explore different options in corporate once I join this. So I
Mm.
thought, yeah, I should prepare for GMAT, and then MBA is a good option for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how did you manage, GMAT along with work? Because with the kind of work you were going through, right? So, how did you manage that aspect?
Yeah, in 2019 December I started GMAT preparation, and then it took me first when I wrote the exam, my score was 480. So after that, I thought, people were saying in my first attempt I got 640, and then after 3 months of preparation I got 720, 730. I thought I would be on the similar lines, but once I wrote the exam, I got to know the reality of GMAT. It's a very tough exam, and sentence correction, especially every question, every option seems correct. So without basic concepts, I thought it's very difficult. Then I subscribed to a GMAT channel, and then it took me 6 to 7 months to go through the syllabus itself,
Mm.
including quant and English. And then in the lockdown 2020, I got more time to concentrate. So I worked for 4 hours a day. And then this after that, unfortunately, I got a gap of 6 to 7 months because I joined in IIT Delhi some course from sponsored by our department. So I
Mm.
couldn't concentrate on GMAT. Again, this year in February, I started afresh. But the concepts were in my mind, but I started practicing more and more questions.
Mm.
And in July, I wrote the exam. I took the in-center exam. I got a score of 560. So I was devastated, and I spoke with one of my friends. He was my colleague in this CRPF, and he quit it very early in 2017 or 16 itself. And then he joined in Hong Kong Business School. He got some 680 or 700 score. So I contacted him. So he said, no, no, you have to practice the official guide and all those things. He suggested me official guide is the best thing. So I bought the official guide and I practiced the questions. And in October, I wrote and I got the good score. Yeah,
Right. So what was the final score you ended up with?
730.
730.
Yeah.
So what was the difference between your UPSC preparation or the preparation that you did for civil services versus GMAT?
GMAT, it's a standard syllabus. Once you get to know the exam, once you get to know the questions, how they will be asking in the official GMAT, you will get you'll get to know the question. Okay, he would be asking this thing, he would be asking this thing, medium question, hard question. Civil services is, it's like an ocean. You never know what question comes. So many people who even clear the exam next year, they get to fail prelims. It's very random kind of thing. It's a bit luck also. I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
So after GMAT, what was the thing? So were you very clear you wanted to apply only to Indian schools?
Yeah, actually, I spoke with some of the people whether I have to apply for US schools or European schools. And my wife is also working in corporate. She's in Siemens in Bangalore.
Mm.
So people suggested me that if you want to go to management consulting, then it's better to apply for US schools, that to top 10 to 15 schools. Once you get in there, you will get a chance to work for McKinsey, Bain or BCG. Only then it would be practical to get a H1B visa. And if there are some visa issues also, the company will support you.
Mm.
Otherwise, if you don't go into management consulting, for example, if you go into some operations management role, nobody knows that whether the company would take risk to get your H1B visa and all those things. So and also the cost of MBA in foreign is very huge. The cost was not a problem for me, but the thing is, whether it is practical to go to US and do MBA, or whether it is staying in India. So I thought it is much practical to stay in India. And so yeah, and my wife is also pregnant. We are expecting in March,
Mm.
so I don't want to leave in this moment of time. Yeah,
Right. Congratulations on that.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So awesome. So tell me about your application journey. How did you get to know about Crackbubble, and how was the whole process?
Yeah, from once I thought I should go for GMAT, I was looking for options. So I saw the success stories in YouTube and all those things. So many are from Crackverbal and eGMAT and some other companies. So I thought once I get the GMAT score, I have to subscribe to Crackverbal, because especially for application process, many people gave the feedback that Crackverbal is the best. So then once I got the score, I pinged Arun Jagannathan sir in LinkedIn. So immediately he gave the response. He said that just give your phone number. And then Swati from Crack Verbal has contacted me. And the second day he messaged me. Did you get contact from Swati? So I said, yes, sir. Thank you very much. Then from then, she gave me the PS form. I worked for 1 or 2 days on it, and then I filled it up, and then I prepared the resume, and then they edited my resume. And after the resume was complete, and after I prepared my colleges, which college to apply, they assigned me a mentor.
Right.
Yeah, Gautam.
Right. So how important was the role of a mentor in your process?
Actually, being in government, and I did not know the corporate, even 1%, how all these things go on. I can give training to the people, who prepare for civil services, but not for this kind of thing. It is completely new. I doesn't even know how to project myself. As you said in your our first mock interview, it's very boring speaking with you, no? So that's the kind of thing we get habituated to be silent, and we shouldn't laugh in our job. Just, we have to be serious, that's it. So for last 7 to 8 years, that will be in our mind. So suddenly to express myself, it was very difficult. Then Gautam understood me very well, my mentor, and he said, yeah, I know what to do. So he just asked me. We had a call for 20 to 40 minutes. Then he got to know completely. And then he said, you prepare your stories in the star approach. He explained me about the star approach. And then he said that you give your stories, then we'll go on. So I took 3 days time to pick the best stories of my leadership role. And then I gave him some 6 to 7 stories. Then yeah, he was very impressed with those, and he said, yeah, these are very good leadership roles. And he picked one from my strategic planning perspective, one from ethical perspective, one from finance type perspective, and all those things. And then yeah, it was very cool. And especially the first essay of IMB, the first draft, that was very difficult. I took 4 days to write the first draft, because we have to express ourselves. I was very, I thought, how could I write about myself, man? Come on, I can't do that. Somebody has to give feedback on me, but I can't say about myself. But yeah, once he said the pattern, just introduce like this, and then start the story, start the second story, third story. The word limit was 600, but I got around 900 words. Then I sent that to him. He edited, and he got down to the 600 words. Once he has done that, then I thought that, yeah, this is the way to write the essay and SOP. Yeah.
Right. Right. So, so once you applied, once you submitted your application, how long did it take for you to get the interview call?
I submitted the application on October 9th. October 9th was the last date. My application was ready on October 7th itself, but my recommenders, it was very difficult to get the recommendation, because my senior DIG has said that I can't give you recommendation, because we have to take NOC from Ministry of Home Affairs and all those things. I said, sir, it is not like that, because if I have to leave the job, I'll tell some personal reason. I don't reveal that I got the admit in MBA and all those things. But yeah, he said, no, yeah, I can't give. Once you get out, then my inquiry will be on me. Departmental inquiry will be on me. So yeah, I consulted. Then I spoke with my mentor, and he suggested that it is not compulsory that you take a recommendation from DIG. Any of your colleague who knows you much better, then they can give. So one of my senior colleague who was with me for the last 7 years, and another one who was with me for the past 2.5 years, I spoke with them, and then they were very happy, and they gave the recommendation. And 5 p.m. was the last deadline, October 9th, 5 p.m. And we have submitted the recommendation by 4:30. Yeah. on
Mhm.
that day. On October 14th, I got the mail that your application is shortlisted. And on October 26th, they conducted the written ability test and then interview.
Right, right. Interesting, because in the corporate world, we don't even know this kind of situation exists, right? Interesting. So, how was the written interview? And it is like a mock topic that they give you impromptu. How does that writing ability work?
The word limit will be 200 words.
Hmm.
Uh, at 8 a.m., I had the written ability test.
Hmm.
It is same like what we write AVA in GMAT.
Hmm.
They gave a topic, some social issue. Then either we have to support his argument, or we have to oppose his argument.
Hmm.
That's the thing. So I gave a small introduction of 50 words, and then I thought I have to have a 50 words of conclusion and then 100 words of body with example.
Hmm.
So yeah, I planned in that way. I introduced the topic, and I said that whether I will be supporting or will be opposing the argument. I opposed the argument actually, and then I gave the example, and I explained why I support this argument. And in conclusion, I gave the conclusion. Yeah,
Right.
50
So I
words.
guess your essay writing process also helped you in this particular.
Exactly. That helped me a lot. That helped me a lot. I thought, you would be spoon feeding me when you said in the mail, yeah, I am paying nearly 1 lakh rupees, and they are saying you have to write this and all those things. But really, that's the best thing you are doing, because once you spoon feed, we can't do anything. Even after joining the course, also, it would be very difficult for us. We many people have knowledge, but we doesn't know how to express it. And in this short period of time, in this essay process, I got to learn many things actually, in especially from the mentor. He how to present a thing precisely. In government now, if there is 1 rupee, we have to show it as 100 rupees. We have to simple process. There will be a simple process. Just by one signature, the work will be done. But we will show this law is against it, this rule is against it, everything, red tapeism. So we got habituated to those things. Instead of doing a simple work simply, we complicate it by bringing the laws actually. The laws are there to simplify the work, but we use those laws to delay the work in government. Generally, not everyone, but
Hmm.
it's there in our country. It's common in our country.
Hmm.
So I thought, yeah, to cut short things is very difficult for me. So mentor was very helpful, and in the written ability test, I could sense his help actually. How to introduce the topic, and then the body and the conclusion, everything. Yeah, it helped a lot.
Right, right. So how was the interview process for you? Like, how many people were there in the panel, and how did that go about?
Yeah, three people were there, two professors and one alumni, I think. And alumni started the interview. He said, what do you think I would ask the question? Then I said, tell me about yourself. No, I said, Arey, no, man, come on. You upset me. I'm not going to ask you this question. Your profile is very different. I'm going to ask, why do you want to shift this job? He started in that tone actually. And then I said that in from our mock interview, as you said, you have to explain the things. It should be interesting, and those things. When I was saying those things, he kept his face, it was very stressful to see his face actually in the interview. But still I kept my cool, and then I answered my questions. And he yeah. And then your short term goal, and he said that your short term goal and your long term goal doesn't match. You're going for operations, and then you want to establish a management firm. I couldn't get you, man. You're a very confused guy. As a then I justified him by saying that what I wish to do actually, because in SOP we can't explain the things very clearly because of the word limit, and I explained it to him. see, I want to do like this, and in the long term I want to do this. And then second professor mostly asked about my job, and he covered some current affairs, and he also asked one question based on encounters actually, what these police encounters which are going on in the country, and how would you see those things. I answered him, but he said, yeah, I know you are an anthropology student, you have done BTech, but I want your answer from a sociological perspective. I couldn't get what he asked actually, but I doesn't know the answer, but I said something to skip this question. He was upset with my answer. He didn't expect what he thought I would say something, but I said some other thing. So then he asked me mostly of my job and all those things. And the third professor, he asked me, what are your weaknesses? And then he asked me about we are seeing, as I said in my SOP, that I want to join a e-commerce firm like Amazon or Flipkart and all those things. So he asked me, we are listening some things about Amazon all over the world. So why do you want to go to that company? Then I justified that, yeah, maybe when compared to other companies, Amazon work culture, it's a bit difficult, but coming from government, it is not a 9 to 5 job that I'm doing. It's a 24 hours, 365 days job. So for me, it's not a difficult job and all those things. Yeah. And then he finally said, do you have any questions? Then he in the process he said that many people I saw who are coming from police forces and army and all those things, they suffer a lot in MBA to get the job in the corporate. They have to work really hard. So uh, I don't know how could you cope up in this course and all those things. So and then I asked him, sir, you said all those things that it's very hard to cope for us. So if I get admit in the MBA, if I get admit in IMB, what should I do to prepare myself before joining the course? Then he said, I can answer this question. Anish, you are very intelligent. You will figure it out for yourself. The entire interview tone was very stressful actually for me. Yeah, you'll figure it out yourself. You're very intelligent. I know, man. That's a bullshit question. In that tone, he spoke with me.
Yeah, I think maybe to keep it very stressful for you to figure
Maybe.
out whether how you handle that stress.
Once he said that, I laughed at him actually. I know I couldn't control my laugh. Then he asked me, do you have another question? I said, no, sir, I don't have any question. Then, yeah, you can quit.
Yeah. In fact, I remember having this mock interview with you, and I was so sure that you will get in because B schools want people with your kind of background, right? So unless it's really the interview is messed up, it would have not been possible for you to not get through. So I'm so
Okay.
glad you got through, and congratulations once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you so much for giving me time on a Sunday. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Actually, I have to thank Arun Jagannathan sir, because he gave me response within 24 hours. Actually, I didn't expect, because many people would be pinging him, many people would be approaching him, but promptly he gave the number. He saw what I wrote and all those. Yeah, yeah, that was really helpful. And his sessions actually, once I went through his course, I got to figure out on which direction I have to go and which college should I choose and all those things. That was really helpful to fill the PAS form and to get a clarity on my future actually.
True,
Yeah,
true.
that was very helpful. And especially the mock interview that I took from you, it was an eye opener, first thing. And secondly, yeah, I got to know how to express myself. I got to know how to speak in the interview. Yeah, after this is my second interview in my life, because first interview was UPSC and then this is the second interview. So yeah, it was very, very, very helpful actually from Crack Mobility.
I'm so glad. I'm
Yeah,
so glad, and I'm so glad we got the opportunity to be part of your journey.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Anish, and wish you good luck. I'm
thank
sure
you.
you'll shine in your MBA program and even after that.
Thank you.
And all the best. And definitely I will reach out to you once you're done with your MBA to know where you have reached and what you are looking forward to in
Sure,
your
definitely.
Thank you so much, Anish.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a very nice Sunday.
Thank you.
Bye.